welcome to this very special series, Wise with Edelweiss. Joining me today is Radhika Gupta, who's the CEO at Edelweiss Asset Management and one of the most dynamic leaders of the Indian mutual fund industry. Thanks very much, Radhika. Always a pleasure talking to you. You know, one of the terms which has become pretty cool in the mutual fund industry again over the last few years is that we are process driven. You know, almost every CEO I speak to says, we have a process in place. Now, from an investor's point of view, how do I know there is a process in place? And what is this process? Is it just about saying, basic things like, we invest in equity or we invest in debt, or this particular fund, benchmark is XYZ, and we seek to beat it? What should a process document, according to you, contain? And secondly, is it disclosed in great detail by you, for example? Can't hold you accountable for the rest of the industry, but at least are you seeking to put out as much of the process in the public domain for your investors?
So I think a process document is important, and I think a process is important. And how do you know a process exists? Well, you know it because there's a document. Now, everybody is not going to give you their entire secret sauce. Not that I like to call it secret sauce, but that is not going to be in public domain. But at least some understanding of how the fund manager goes around selecting stocks or building the portfolio, I think that is very, very important. As far as we are concerned, we are trying to put out more and more process documents. For our equity funds, we put out process documents. For our balanced advantage fund, we actually, because it's a model-driven fund and there's no element of human discretion, we have put out everything possible that you can put, a detailed document. We are also cognizant that we don't want to, finance is a very technical field. So we don't want to put out so much jargon that can confuse investors. So we're trying to put basic documents and more advanced documents also out there. I think there are a few things you can ask in a process document. It at least gives you a process document, means like constitution. It gives you boundaries around which a fund should operate. And I think laws and constitutions, just as they protect citizens, I think they also protect investors. For instance, again, and I'm going to give the example of hybrid funds here because that's a little more of a nuanced category. In a hybrid fund, there have been a lot of questions about my balanced fund has credit or this kind of stuff, etc. A process document will tell you that, okay, if I have a balanced fund, this is the kind of credit quality it can take. This is the kind of duration risk. So it gives you boundaries. And then as long as your fund is within those boundaries, you signed up for those boundaries, then no matter how much news there is about XYZ, you don't have to worry. And if the fund is violating boundaries, then of course you have time to build a red flag. So I think that's what a process document does. It is protection for you as an investor.
Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, Radhika, for joining me on this special series, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you and all the best.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.